So, well, let's talk about our favorite topic. Female nature. I must hate women, right? I'm a misogynist, right? And I'm also gay, because we all know that gays really hate women. It doesn't even make sense, is it? I don't think anybody who's gay is going to set up a YouTube channel fussing over women. Nah. There's no conflict between gays and women. In fact, gays have a natural affinity to women because they have a lot in common in terms of their emotional response. Basically, they're just neutral. So, I mean, the sexual tension that you find between males and females is absolutely non-existent between a homosexual and a female. There's no conflict. There's no disappointment. There's no tension. It's absurd. So she's going to perceive everything about these topics in a completely different way. It's going to register in her mind differently from how it registers for a male. If you notice, she automatically believes that any male who is going to take an interest in female nature and study it, criticize it, judge it, and not just fall into line according to female criteria. Any male who is not going to be thinking as a female must be deviant, must be pathological, must be criminal, or must be traumatized, damaged. And that's immediately what she's presuming when stumbling onto this channel and listening to these talks and these topics that I deal with. She has no clue as to why a male would even consider these topics and why a male would even think this way. And you can understand how it's very interesting. You can understand how she has no connection as to why this would even be discussed. And I've dealt with this before. Everything revolves around female intentions and female gain. And it is absolutely unfathomable by her as to what the hell could be wrong with this guy that he's going to this length to... It doesn't even occur to her that we're studying human behavior here. This is basically what we're doing. Human behavior within the relationship. Specifically within the relationship. But it's human behavior. Human nature. Female nature. And to female, this is such meaningless. Such a meaningless endeavor. That she has no clue as to, wow, this guy must be fucked right up. Somebody fucked this guy up badly. And no other male's doing it. We don't hear this on in TV or anywhere else. Oh no, it's never talked about. Not in the media. What the fuck is wrong with this guy? He must be really fucked up. He must be really, really traumatized. And that's shocking to me. It absolutely is shocking to me. Now, this happens to be, I think, a particularly naive female. Maybe quite young again. Young females, young males, my God. Irritating. Irritating as hell. Because they're ignorant. They're ignorant and they live through fantasy. They live through idealism. It shows the ignorance that one would have to even make a statement like this. Stupid comments themselves give you an insight in how little women know about male nature to even make such comments. One of the many, many, many stupid comments. Again, it was usually the several males or whatever passes for males these days claiming that sometimes men just want sex. Well, as I said before, there must be a condition for you to make a comment, be critical on my channel, and that is that you, first of all, definitely it's mandatory for you to have been in one, but preferably several relationships with women, and you also would have had to have been living with a female, all right, for you to get the full extent of what exactly is going on between men and women. This is not an imagination channel where you can just imagine yourself in that role. You gotta actually have been in that role. Everything about female nature is predicated upon their incapacity or their diminished capacity for emotion. And just very recently, a woman came on a channel and she made a comment, and I'm not going to disparage her for the comment she made. She simply doesn't know anything about me, and it's the first reaction that she got. It was basically a knee-jerk reaction, and there's a lot of knee-jerk reactions to this topic. I mean, this topic is controversial. This topic is heavy. This topic is emotionally provoking, as it should be. I will have it no other way. And, by default, it is going to be emotionally provoking. But, she made the interesting comment. I mean, some people would say, oh, what a stupid comment. But I didn't do that. I didn't think it was stupid. She just simply had lack of information, and it was knee-jerk. It was presumptuous. And what she said was, I'm sorry you have been treated so badly by women. And I'm thinking, well, is that what's coming through here? Is that even a topic of discussion? Is that even worthwhile considering? Not that it's not important, but how does that make me different from virtually every male on Earth? And I automatically start to think, where is she coming from? What is her reasoning? Man, her mind is completely different from the average male's. And it's a female. Would a male even think that this would be an exception? That a female would treat a male badly? that I would be an exception. And that is why I'm fussing and studying and conducting analysis on female nature and relationships because I was treated badly. This is just a very strange arrival at this type of reasoning. Only a woman would make this type of reasoning. A man would never make this comment, right? For a male, it's axiomatic. It's understood that all males suffer at the hands of women. But a woman just cannot see that. They cannot fathom it. It doesn't even occur to them. See, that's why when women come to this channel, they don't know what to make of it. But it's the first time that they're exposed to the male psyche, to the male experience. As if I was some kind of an exception. Some kind of a damaged deviant. My God. I think it's an idealistic female, for one thing. And it's automatically an assumption that any male who is going to discuss, the most important word here is question. What kind of male would dare question, and why would they question female nature? That in itself is a sign of damage, sickness, deviance, or even bring to his own attention female nature must be hurt, damaged, pathological, criminal, or whatever. That's the immediate presumption of the naive female. If I can just call her that. I don't want to go any further. I'm not here to call people names. But it's definitely a knee-jerk reaction. And I hope one day you're able to heal from these experiences and be a part of a healthy, loving relationship. Now, this is a huge statement on her part, and how disassociated she is with reality here. And she's living in fantasy because she calls it a healthy, loving relationship. Now, is that even possible? Is that even possible, stripped down to those essentials, with that kind of simplicity and superficiality and idealism? And she later claims that she's not idealistic, but how can you not be? A healthy, loving relationship, does that even exist? And again, experience with relationships goes both ways. It's a requirement for both males and females. Because otherwise, your comment sounds juvenile. It sounds childish. It's almost like one doesn't want to criticize it because it's too benign. It's too based on fantasy. And it's almost like one doesn't want to disturb that and doesn't want to take away from the myth that these people live under. Because in some way it's beautiful, is it not? It's like she's playing with a dollhouse. And she knows how life ought to be in a fairy tale. And she's putting Ken and Barbie in their spot. And in her fantasy, Ken and Barbie live a meaningful, healthy, loving relationship indefinitely. It's like a little girl. It's like she's 5 years old. Kind of sad in a way, because she claims to have had relationships, but I question that. I question how serious they were. I question how long lasting they were. I question who they were with, what kind of an individual. And I think she's headed for considerable disappointment. And she's going to learn the hard way. And I could say the same thing for men as well. Except men display their fantasy in a different way. They get misled the same way. But it comes out as an exaggerated machismo. Where a otherwise weak male is going to display exaggerated, non-existent masculinity and dominance over the female in an attempt to disguise vulnerability. And that's just as inaccurate as what this female is displaying here. You know, the notion that, I don't give anything to women. And the less I give them, the more they want me. My God. I think these two should get together. This girl and those males who believe that. They should get together and have a meaningful, healthy, loving relationship. Come back and let me know how it goes. Now, I have to make this clear. I am not really an anomaly. I am no different from... My experiences are not different from many thousands and millions of other males. Some have had it maybe somewhat better. Some have had it worse. But we basically experience the same quality of disenchantment with females. And I stress the word quality, and the same type of disappointment and voids regarding females. Now, the quantity may vary, but even that doesn't vary all that much. This is a universal condition. Universal male condition. So, I replied, what jumped out immediately about you is your facile and idealistic view of the world, a very simplistic, childish view of the world. I don't know what world you live in, I asked. Men and women are hurt by each other virtually every fucking moment. All it needs to be done is the wrong word to be spoken. All right? That's all that needs to be done. Why? Because as soon as you enter a relationship, you are going to, if you like it or not, or if you really withhold yourself as much as you possibly can, consciously, by default, you're going to immediately place upon the other individual expectations and demands. Without that, there is no fucking relationship. Without expectations and demands. So just remember these two very important terms. Expectations and demands. There's no relationship without it. So her dream of the Ken and Barbie fantasy relationship is challenged right out of the gate. Because for the male to exhibit his protection and provision for the female, he is going to place demands and expectations on her. For the female to submit to the male, she is going to place some serious expectations and demands on the male. You see why her assertion sounds so naive? And so delusional? And so juvenile? I'm thinking that she does have a toy playhouse in front of her when she utters these things. Nonetheless, it's beautiful, isn't it? It's a beautiful sentiment. But it's a little bit more complicated than how a child perceives it. And as soon as there's expectations and demands, there's going to be a whole host of other perceptions which are derivative of these expectations and demands. Whole other responses from the other individual within the relationship. It can be misunderstood, it can be pushback, there could be reluctance, there could be denial, disobedience, sabotage, stubbornness, an assertion of individuality, a perception of loss of individuality, loss of autonomy, as soon as expectations and demands are placed. And they're going to be placed simultaneously from both sides upon the other. So that's basically the definition of any relationship. Simple, isn't it? Very, very simple. So as soon as that's done, I don't want to swear, but what I was going to say is, where the fuck does healthy and loving come in? How can it even manifest itself? There's just way too many challenges involved. within the relationship. Way too many challenges, right? From both sides. And then what makes it, I keep telling you this, is that what makes it absolute incompatibility between the two is that they're both wanting to go in a different direction. They say, well, let's have a relationship, but one's going this way, another one's going this way. And you kind of just wonder, how in the hell can this ever survive? Well, there is a way, but I'm not going to talk about that right now. Because when you're watching any porn movie, it does not start off with a cum shot, does it? No, that comes at the end. That's the finale. The grand finale. So I go on and I say, men and women are hurt by each other virtually every moment. I just explained that all it takes is one wrong word. And that one wrong word comes invariably at any time. It can. And it will. It's not a matter of it can. And it's not a matter of you being an exception. Oh, this only happens to everybody else in the world, but not with us. Because we have, what did she say? A healthy, loving relationship. How long will that fucking last? It can last, but not yet. Not yet. It won't be disclosed just yet. I mean, the conditions have to be just right. Just right for it to happen. It's like many other things in nature, right? You need to have certain conditions take place simultaneously for magic to occur. Well, that's a definition of a tragedy as well, or an accident. I mean, the definition of an accident is certain conditions taking place simultaneously, and bang, you've got an accident. So it can either go in a nice way or an ugly way, but the conditions have to be present. So I said, if you paid attention to any relationship, you will notice that men and women hurt each other by default virtually every moment. You cannot have a relationship without it. This is due to their profound and fundamental differences, as I explained. So the problem with women, and I'd love to do workshops for women, because they're terrible at selecting mates. There's no variability between women in how they select mates. I mean, just look at their track record. Just take any woman and look at their track record. And if you can find someone who have been a couple who have been together for decades, a very long time, I will tell you exactly why. And it's not going to be because of why what they generalize it as, what they describe it as. I'm going to tell you the real reason in every situation. But usually, it doesn't occur. And if it does, it's not because of what they think it is. Just look at the track record and you will know how terrible women are at selecting their mate. And I'm going to come to painting women with a broad brush, right? Generalizing. Yes. It's very accurate to generalize both male and female nature. But the way they select mates is with great caution, they're very prudent, they're very careful. It's all based on their insecurities, it's all based on their fears and their comfort level. First impressions mean everything. It's based on, crudely speaking, what they can extract from the male, what the male is there to offer them. Not so much the male himself, but what he is bringing to the table. They show great care and importance for the future. Women who usually are not very good at foresight. Women live in the present in terms of their actions. And that's why they get themselves into big trouble sometimes. They dirty themselves up because they live in the present with no fucking foresight. But when it comes to choosing their partner, they attempt to show considerable prudence, caution, very, very judgmentalism towards the male. They size up the male in every which way. And look what they end up with. So there's something missing in their technique, in their procedure that they employ, right? Now, the mistake that many men make, especially these men going their own way, men who are not in relationships, men who do not, or they think they don't want to pursue a committed relationship or long-term relationship, or they're simply have trepidation in opening themselves up for that kind of potential downfall. So the mistake that men make is that they think it's all based on materialistic utility, which is wrong. Much of it is based on emotional gain. It's not so much utilitarian gain, it's more emotional gain. That's why you can understand the inaccuracy and the absurd nature of these men who believe that the least they give to women emotionally, the more women will want them. It's simply the mechanism does not function in that way. There is no way on earth that that'll function that way. That's pure, disgusting male delusion. So there's your huge PUA, pickup artist tip. You have to fuck them in the heart first. If you claim otherwise, you're full of fucking shit. You're dreaming. whatever emotional voids the female has, if that male can fulfill those voids, or it is perceived that he can, the female is spreading her legs. Now, the female can get quite desperate and can get into certain emotional predicaments which make her very, very vulnerable to this. So if a male comes along who can fake sincerity, he will be selected and permitted by the female to give her some whatever passes for sex. And I put the emphasis on perceived emotional gain from the male. So, if you can learn one thing from this talk, is that it is incorrect to think that females are basically an MTM machine. Is that what you call it? A debit machine, debit card machine, in which they're looking for the male to insert his debit card, which the female will withdraw funds from. It's not quite as clear cut. I mean, that does happen and can happen, and it eventually happens down the road. But at first, it is mainly emotional. You can look at this metaphorically, where whatever the male inserts, the female cashes in. But it doesn't really work that way exactly. That's a very simplistic way of looking at it, and it's not a very endearing way of looking at it. But to the defense of women, it's not the complete picture. Because primarily what the women is at first looking for, I would say not in every case, but in most cases, especially if there's attraction involved. Now, of course, a lot of women go into relationships where there's absolutely no attraction. And for a guy, that's really bizarre. Like, no guy understands that, okay? How can you even function if there's no attraction, right? But for women, it doesn't seem to be a problem at all, because they're looking long term. And if they can gain this, and this on many other levels, attraction really takes a back seat. And especially if the female is more severely afflicted with sociopathy, a sociopath, which all of them are, but some more than others. So as I was saying, the primary motivation for most women is to fill their emotional voids. Many females are fooled by males who can fake sincerity. And this is unfortunate, because females pick their partners very poorly. And once they realize who that male actually is, and it could be days, weeks, but sometimes years down the road, females would have lost precious years off of their biological clock. Why? Because they did not know how to properly select a mate. But I think I just went off on a tangent. That's not what I want to talk about. What I really want to talk about is finish this comment here and So women hurt each other because of their profound and fundamental differences. Most tend to be more realistic and less idealistic regarding their own nature compared to females. Most men, okay, a healthy male is going to be way less living in fantasy. He's not going to be living in fantasy in terms of the relationship. No male is going to come out and say, I'm looking for a healthy and loving relationship. No male is going to do that. Because I think males intrinsically know how precarious their association with any female is. And they're going to know how precarious that relationship is. And I think even if they admit it or not, they know deep inside that, referring to one of my other videos, it is all about conceding to the female. Every relationship is gynocentrically centered. Gynocentrically based. Gynocentrically driven around their dollhouse. Hear that, guys? There's no way around it. You have no choice. Another video I did. Every relationship is predicated upon the needs of female nature. Wow! Now, just realize what I just said. Every relationship is predicated upon the needs of the female. Up on top being emotional needs, and then below it all of the utilitarian needs, materialistic needs. So, according to the female, if she reaches these impossible criteria, all right, in her mind, wow, just imagine the female mind. And to any male or any male who has a acceptable half-ass decent, half-decent amount of masculinity in his personality, this female mindset is just bizarre. Because if the female reaches those criteria, she finds a wonderful husband or wonderful boyfriend. Okay? Predicated. All predicated on the needs of the female. The needs of the male is really not of any interest to the female. That's why there's no women here. You know, I mean, it's all open. This is free admission. Free admission to this channel. And, you know, we get the deranged, fucked up, ugly bitches. I don't know who they are. Or we get women who simply just don't get it. Who are... their whole world revolves around their romance novels. That's the real world for female. But you gotta understand, girls, that for guys, this is absurd. It's absolutely absurd. Again, one's going this way, the other one's going this way. How in the hell are they gonna meet? They're not. So, they're together. They're locked together. Either by law, by necessity, by convenience, or by emotional dependence. They're locked. But one wants to go this way, the other one fucker wants to go this way. You understand what I'm getting at? How the hell are you going to get out of this scenario? How the hell are you going to get out of this scenario? A healthy and loving relationship. I don't get it. I don't know how. Don't know how. Do you know how? There's a way. But we're not going to talk about it just yet. No, we're not. Men tend to be more realistic and less idealistic. Regarding their own nature and regarding female nature. I don't think I will ever find a man with the same simplistic and wishful view of relationships as what this woman displayed in her comment. So, relationships simply cannot function in a harmonious way that this woman aspires and fantasizes about. There's constant tension, conflict, and constant exchange of expectations and demands on each other within the relationship. Because one's going this way, the other one's going this way. And one expects the other to go their way, and this one expects this one to go that way. So guess what needs to take place? Getting back to one of my other videos again, dedicated to this. One of the individuals in that relationship, one of the two, must concede to the other. And if every relationship is gynocentrically driven, gynocentrically controlled, gynocentrically dominated. Oh, not our relationship. I'm the man. And I know how to control a woman. Yeah, right. You fucking dummy, you. In your dreams. That's the male fantasy. We talked about the female fantasy. Now we're going to talk about the male fantasy. Yeah, you're the man. You're the man. And what you are gonna have to do if you want to stay in that relationship, and if you don't want to hear the dreadful words, we have to talk. This relationship is no longer healthy. Just like what the young woman said. An unhealthy relationship. What the fuck is the definition of an unhealthy relationship? There's a relationship that does not fulfill the female, does not work for the female, not one that doesn't work for you, you dumb fuck, you. It's something that doesn't work for her. And she's gone. She's out of there. She's fucking gone. And we're getting right back to serial monogamy. Have to end it. Have to end the relationship, yes. It never happened. So, one of the two must concede to the one who is in control. And guess who's in control? Not you, dude. Not you, dude. Yeah, you can play your PUA persona. Maybe you're going to do that for one day, and that's it. Depending on how often you see each other. But that's it. That'll be over for you. Because women are not playing games. They're not there to waste their time. And if they do waste their time, sometimes they waste years of their life. Is because they're living on aspirations. And they're living inside their dollhouse. And they have not realized that their fantasy doesn't work either. The male fantasy doesn't work, and neither does the female fantasy. Neither the male or the female fantasy works. And the two fantasies are fucking incompatible. Alright? So you still want to get into a relationship? You want to have a meaningful, healthy, loving relationship. Good luck to you. And I'll see you later. Thanks for the donations. I really appreciate it. If you guys want to see these videos come further, show me you appreciate them. That's all it is. It's a show of appreciation.